since I've done this. Have to bear with me a little bit. Okay. Say hello, guys. Hello, guys. If you're in chat, go ahead, throw some chat up, ask some questions. I'm just here hanging out. I got not a whole lot going on today, so I just kind of thought I'd throw up a live stream and see what was going on. I got some photos and whatnot of current work going on that I can show you guys and just see how it's going. So, got any questions about construction, life in general? If you had a good 4th of July, did anyone lose a finger or anything? I'd like to know that. So, I'm here if you guys want to answer some questions or anything. Let's see, throw up a photo here. My intro. There we go. First one up. This is an older picture, V-ditch. Kind of shows what we do, or what I do. Dig a hole, throw a pipe in it. Anybody out there? Do I have anybody watching even? I don't know. Alright, it says I got one guy watching, so hello. Don't know who you are. Like I said, if you got any questions or anything like that, just throw them up in the side chat. Just say hi. Let me know what your name is so I can talk to you. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself here, which is more than likely what I'm doing right now. No. Playing around with OBS, trying to learn how to do this stuff myself. Early morning. Just thought I'd come in here, hang out. See if I can figure out how to pin a comment. Pin message. There we go. Okay, message has been pinned. So that link there. That is a live chat with me. So I've got my phone over here. I keep it with me during the time I'm working. Sircles is a application that I've chosen to use for live chat now. Throughout the day. So I've got guys from work that can text me during work instead of doing it through just standard text. I've got a group chat text going on for general questions, get other people involved. The idea is that this Sircles app that I'm using allows me to connect to far more people without handing out my phone number, so that way they're not you guys can chat with me directly any time of the day, and that will basically allow you direct contact to me to get questions answered. You can send photos through this. It goes through your phone. You don't have to have the application, but I would suggest downloading the application. It's Sircles with an S. You can friend me on the app, and that would basically give you more contact. There's a lot of cool things that the app does as well. We're not going to go into that today, but the primary thing is that I'm just trying to get people on it so that way we can chat throughout the day if you have any issues or just questions in general. I'm working with the Sircles guys. I'm actually trying to get a sponsorship through them. But there are some things I got to do, some hoops I got to jump through, and kind of prove that I'm going to be able to be a positive reinforcement for them to get people into viewing and using their application. So later on, when that happens, then I may have a spot where I do some advertising for them. At this point, it's all free for me. It's all, well, it's free for everybody. The application's free. They don't charge anything or anything like that. So, and they don't. The cool thing about the guys that have created this app, they don't share your information, which is a big, huge thing for a lot of us. We don't want to download extra things that share our information. And these guys, they want to use this to kill other applications and beat them out. And I've actually invested in the company just for fair notification. And I really believe in the guys that have designed this. And they're really got some great ideas. It's still in the early stages of development, but it's going to be a big application. I totally believe it will be. So that's why I invested. All right, so I'll throw another picture up here. Let's see, transition. There it is. Okay, got another one up there. This is kind of a funny photo. I got my ground man's laying me out for something, and I'm playing around with my webcam here. Not webcam. God, I'm an idiot. My YouTube channel can't hear me. I'm very quiet. Let's see. We turn up the microphone. Does that help? Is that better? Hello? 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 Is this any better? Yes? No? That any better, Andrew? Okay, cool. All right. So basically, I've been talking to myself. That's cool. So, welcome in, Andrew. Thanks for the notification that my mic was quiet. I didn't really even notice it. I've got the sound stuff over here that I'm checking out. But anyways, as I was saying, the photo that I've got up right now is me looking at my GoPro, looking at the back of my head, while my grade setter is setting up some things. So, you got any questions or anything you want to talk about construction, life, money, just anything? I'm an open book if you want to talk. So, you got anything you want to hear about? I can tell you. I give you my answer, anyways, on my thoughts on life in general. Working on some photos. So you probably didn't hear me, Andrew, is that I've got, I don't know how many people, how do I tell? 7 watching now. Nice. So guys, now that I know that you can hear me, feel free to throw any question you want. I will answer anything outside of prohibited comments. I'm not hugely into talking about political stuff because that usually causes more problems than it solves. I am fidgety this morning. All I've had was a little Boost energy drink. That's it. You can see this. That's all I've had this morning. So I'm a little tired. It was a bit of a weekend. Woodsard, hey, what's up? Good to see you in here. It's been a while. So, you guys missed my little thing about I've got a pinned comment. Let me see if I can get my hand in the right place. Pinned comment over here in the chat. That's for the Sircles application that I'm now using to. They've allowed me to create my own channel called the Monkey Construction. So if you find that in that application, you can chat with me any time of the day, except when I'm sleeping. So during the work day, you guys can chat with me and ask questions throughout the day. If you've got like a pressing issue, or if you just want to say hi and what's up, you can also post images through the application to me and ask me questions about what you're doing. Or if you're interested in, hey, show me what you're doing, I'll take a quick snapshot and I'll post it for you guys. Just show you what I'm involved in for the day, or what I'm doing at that moment. How close am I getting to retiring? My planned retirement is when I turn 55, which is in about 4.5 years from now. So that's the planned retirement. Basically, I will just be retiring from California, moving to Colorado, where I own property there, and I have a job lined up there with a company, but I've still got to talk to the union about how that's going to go and see if that's something that is even allowed for me to continue working. So the way the union works is when you retire, you're not allowed to continue working non-union and taking a seat from probably another operator. So that would mean I'm not allowed to work unless I go to a non-union state. And that would, so I've got to talk to the union and find out if that's a thing, because IUEO may be in that state. And I do know that they do have projects in Colorado every once in a while, but they're usually nowhere near where I'm going to be living. The picture on the left, what am I working on? Let's see, which picture did I have up? This one, okay. Put that back up. That picture there, that's just, if you actually look at the picture just below my head, you can see I'm on my cell phone looking at my GoPro behind my head. So it's kind of a funny image. I thought was kind of funny. And this, I was digging like a fire hydrant run or something like that. So my ground man's just laying out the marks for me to dig to. You can see a stake laying down. It's going to be a real short run. If you actually look at the trench, you can see there's a box that's dug out for a kicker and for the valve system that comes out towards me. So I'll dig away from the valve to the fire hydrant run. I'll show you guys something a little... Well, this one's a little older. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. OBS can be a pain in the butt sometimes. There, I'll just go with this. This was a fun project that I worked on. This was in American Canyon at an old abandoned concrete facility, and we were converting it for housing. The two towers you see there are over 100 years old. The whole facility was over 100 years old. If you see the two guys down in the hole, those two guys were standing in an old pit where they dumped excess concrete powder material, whatever, and hardened. It took me 2 days to dig through that little like 20-30 foot section, and that's why there's such a tall vertical there, is because it's just solid concrete. And I went through 2 sets of teeth getting through that little section there. And that's 100-year-old concrete, as hard as can be. You can kind of see there's a little vertical, and it was dumped and slewed off down the trench. And it's just, so we're 20 something feet deep in the back where that manhole is. We're about 16 feet in the center where the guy is standing. And then where I'm sitting with the excavator, we're probably another 21 feet right there. You can tell this is an 870 John Deere, so it's a 87 ton machine, and you can tell I'm like full tilt trying to reach to the bottom to clean out the manhole where the next barrel section will go. And I have a video out that I made of this dig, so you can actually watch the video if you look it up. Let me see, something more current. So the project I've been working on here is okay, questions. Windsor. Oh, I don't know why you would have or why your hall would care if you transfer out unless you're working non-union. And that's the thing, is there's not really a union presence in Colorado. So that would be the problem, is if the international union is in Colorado, that means I'd have to work under the IUEO, and I'd have to transfer my book to them, which means I don't officially retire. And I want to officially retire. So whether I start my own business or something like that as an owner-operator, which means I'm not taking work from anyone and means I can continue doing what I'm doing. And the cool thing, if I do something like that, is I could make videos unrestricted, versus what I'm restricted to right now. So the editing process that I currently have for making videos for YouTube right now, I have several restrictions. Most of my videos are delayed a lot because, like the photo I've got here, this was done a month ago. So most of everything that you see on my YouTube channel that I'm posting are a month behind, so we can't get in trouble for something if something's on there because it's already done, backfilled, and gone. We're not there anymore. And most of this project that you're seeing, and this is a portion of the project I haven't even posted yet, so I don't have a video up of this section, which is actually going to be in the next video that I'm working on. So you'll see me trenching. I want to do an educational fast trenching video for how I dig my V ditch, and this was all done with a square bucket without the trapezoid bucket or V bucket that I normally dig with. So it was all done with a square bucket, having to mash in the walls and stuff like that, so you'll get to see how to do that. And I was actually making really good progress, but the problem I had on this project was every day that I had an opportunity to work to trench for a full 8 hours, I got stopped for something for usually around 2 hours. So I was losing 2 to 3 hours a day of trenching and never had a full day of trenching. But that was okay because I was still outpacing the pipe laying crew. They never truly caught up to me unless I stopped digging for a day, and then they could catch up, and then I would go back and backfill. I'll have some videos on me going back and backfilling. You may have seen a couple of shorts if you keep up with my videos. I did a couple of shorts saying, "Oh, I had to stop digging. This sucks," and go back and show a little short of me doing the backfill, running a Terex compactor, which you can actually see all the way in the back of that video or this clip. So here we've got, just to talk about this picture a little bit, it's we're running a twin sewers. This is not SDR. This is actually C900. pipe. This is for a lift station coming out of a sewer lift station from a new housing project. There's actually housing going on off to the right of the photo on the other side of the street. New housing's going on there. It's all going to go to the lift station and will be pumped to a 108-inch main line that goes to the sewer treatment plant, which is actually not far from where we're at. Which is going to be, we still have to do the tie-in for the 108-inch line, which is going to be very problematic. There's a lot of things going on with this project that I can't really talk about. But our project is delayed, so we haven't finished the project. I still got another 2,000 feet of trench to dig and put in main line. It's just not permitted at this time. Let's see. When am I going to show my property in Colorado? That I don't know. Currently, it's just a dirt field. I don't go there very often. Maybe once every other year I go out there. I haven't done a single thing with it. It's just a plot of dirt right now. It is on a airport. It's not. It's a public airport, but private property. It's an HOA, so there's homes built out there. And at this point, it's just something I'm just kind of leaving, chill right now. But when I start developing that property and I go out there, I'm going to record it and I will post that construction for you guys to see, my house being built. I have the plans, what I want to build and what I can afford to build are going to be completely 180 of each other. I would love to build a log cabin style home, about 1,600 square feet. I'm not looking for a huge house, but I also want to be able to build a red iron hangar, and I want to build my own airplane and learn to fly. So those are some of the things I want to do. Brian Murphy, happy 4th of July. Yes, it was a happy 4th of July. I actually hung out with some friends. Oh, you're in Ireland. My wife is American. Okay, cool. So Brian, are you guys in Ireland or are you in America? That's a question. And cool thing is my lineage goes through Ireland and Scandinavian. I actually DNA tested myself. I'm actually 69% Scandinavian, and my bloodline goes through Ireland and to America. So that's how my back end goes. Pain Pulse. I'm local 138 in New York. Is it possible to transfer to another state? Yes. Yes, you can positively go to another state. What you're doing is you take your book, as they call them, your retirement package, and you take that and go to another state. You transfer that to the union, and that is how that works. Okay, commercial. I don't know. I got my own commercial on my own channel. I thought I had that stuff turned off. But so you can take your book, transfer it to another union. I don't know how they're going to put you on a list. If you already have work set up with a union company, and you just transfer your book over, and that company will help you do that. So that is usually a sponsorship transfer, and I've done this before with a guy that was in Southern California. He was in Local 12. He was moving up north into this area where I live and into the Local 3 area. He was a friend of a friend from high school. The high school friend was put out on Facebook, hey, I'm looking for someone looking for a job in operating engineers. So I gave him the phone number to our company. He called them. He got sponsorship for the transfer. I believe that's how that worked. And then he came to work for us. So it was pretty quick and easy. He got a job with the same company, worked for us for a couple of years, and then went somewhere else. So we are, yeah, okay. We are in Cork Island, Ireland. Oh, cool. I bet it. So it's always green there, right? That's my understanding. Is Ireland's always green because you guys are an island and you've always got lots of moisture, moist air. So it never really does like America does turn brown during the summer. I mean, I've been told a couple of I've posted pictures and images when we're in our springtime, and I've had other people from Ireland, Scotland say, hey, that looks like our town. It's so green and lush. Yeah, that only lasts so long, though. All right, I go to another image here. All right, so this one is same project. And what we're doing here is this is near the end of one of the sides. We're actually going to be crossing a creek and a railroad track and going underneath twin sewer lines. So this is the last corner going to the first bore pit, where we go underneath two sewer lines that are like I think they're like 42-inch pipes that are going out to the sewer treatment plant. They're not large enough to tie into with the amount of flow these lines are going to have, so they wanted to tie into the 108-inch that is on the other side of a creek and railroad track. So we're going to have another company come in. I don't know if they're going to dig the bore pit or if we're going to dig the bore pit. Hopefully, I think it's going to be us digging the bore pit, and then the other company will take care of doing the micro tunnel. The micro tunnel is going to be a 42-inch pipe that's sealed and about 1,000 feet long. It'll pass under a creek, a railroad track, and some other pipes, PG&E gas lines, SMUD electrical, and then there'll be a receiving bore pit on the other side. Once they get that done, then it will be just a matter of handing all the pipe down to them. This is interlocking pipe. It's got like a zip tie that goes inside, so the spigot will have a groove in it instead of just being tapered with a smooth pipe. There'll be a groove cut into it. You'll put it together, you'll align it, there'll be a hole on top of the bell, and you'll put this big piece of plastic that goes all the way through, and it locks the pipes together so they cannot pull together. They will then just shove this all the way through the 42-inch pipe, the 1,000 feet, to the other side. They'll have centralizers, a whole bunch of rigging in there that keeps the pipe in the center, or actually the plans say it'll be just below flow line or center spring line, whatever you want to call it, of the pipe, so that way there's space to walk over and inspect all the pipe inside the 42-inch line. It's all really cool stuff, and I'm looking forward to actually hoping I can get some video of this going on, because I'm really interested in seeing it. But the area that we're in, there's going to be a ton of problems with it, because we hit sand at 14 feet and the water table was about the same. So it's going to be a lot of water. They're going to have dewatering in to keep the area dry, and we're right next to a creek. So if we don't get this started this year, that means it'll be started next year, early in the year, while the water table is still high. So a lot of things that are going on and happening with the project there, and that is a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of things I can't talk about that are above and beyond that as well. So right now, starting tomorrow, I've got another project I'm going to. We're walking away from this one until some permitting comes through and allows us to work there again. And it's a long trip. I think it's about 100 miles to my job site, and hopefully it's only for a few days. And then we got another project that's, I think the next project I'm supposed to go to is like 70 something miles away. It's gonna suck. I hate driving that far. So you guys work. How far do you guys have to drive to get to your job sites? Because I know in other states some people they're not willing to drive more than like half an hour. This drive I'll be doing this week is probably going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's going to really suck. And it's only for 8-hour days. I mean, if I was going there and staying out of town, I can deal with that for a few days and then come home, then, project's over. But I don't know. What do you guys think? So how do you like that radius? Have any of you ever had to dig on a radius? Because that's a video I've been thinking about making, is how to keep a radius on center line and where the machine needs to sit versus where the trench is and where you're digging. Because there is a specific way that I dig on radiuses to make sure that the trench stays on center line. Because a lot of guys, I'll just get into it. Why not? So when you're doing a radius dig, and if the machine is sitting on your center line mark, so you got your center line mark and you have your tandems over it. Let me just, I've got an excavator right here. Oh yeah, this is a big girl. So, oh my God, she's stiff. She doesn't want to move. So anyways, if you're sitting and your center line is in the middle of your machine, when you dig your trench, when you're digging on center line, your trench is going to wind up being off center. So center line will be here, but you're digging on a radius, so you're going to be turned a little bit as you're following that center line. Your bucket won't be sitting on center line. So to counter this, you put your bucket on center line, and the machine will be, your center line of your trench will be right here. So the center line mark will be here versus the center of the rig. So if you do that, as you go around that radius, the bucket will stay on center versus the versus your center of the machine staying on center. And that'll keep the trench centered up. It's pretty simple to do. It's just, it does take a bit of practice and mentally telling yourself, I'm sitting in the right spot, even though it looks like you're sitting way off center. And this is a piece of rock I found on a job. I don't remember where this one came from. This may have come from American Canyon. I don't remember. But I do collect a lot of rocks from different job sites. And I enjoy doing that. I've got sandstone, I've got soapstone, I've got shale, I've got some rock that is actually clear that you can see through, several different things. Windsor, I drive anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour and a half away. Sometimes it's a few hours away, but I don't like traveling. Right there with you, buddy. Blue Flame, depends. I've had to travel anywhere between 80 miles to 5 miles depending on the project. Yeah, it's one thing with construction is that we're never in the same place. If we manage to be on a project for years, it's a huge project. And I had one big project that was about an hour and 15 minutes away, and I was on that project for 7 years. It was housing, but the cool thing was they set up an RV park for everybody with connections. So that was cool. You had a lot of other people there, people barbecuing different stuff. You'd share food, have good conversations in the evening. You'd go out, do whatever you need to do. Just chill out on the job site, which sucks. Some crews were working 10 hours. The company I worked for at the time only did 8-hour days, and we were so good at what we did. It was an amazing crew that I had, that we could do what other crews do in 8 hours. Other crews would work 10 to 12 hours. We were doing that kind of work in 8 hours and still keeping up, and had a better quality of product at the end of the job. We had a company that worked right across from us. We had like 400 homes to do. They had about the same amount, 400 homes. They were working 12-hour shifts. Their guys, by the end of the week, they all looked like a bunch of zombies walking around the job. They had a lot of failures in their lines and pressure testing, so they had to go back and dig up a whole bunch of pipe and find the leaks and repair them, whereas we didn't have any. And most of our stuff, if we had an issue, I think the biggest issue we really had was when we installed all the water services going to homes. A couple of guys, a couple of times, because out of 400 or 500 homes, one or two corpse that were not turned on to the home, we'd have to dig back up the corpse stop and then turn it on at the main line. The only huge problem that we had on that project was the survey company had come in and they had a failure of elevation, and when the grading crew came in and did subgrade, they were hitting the top of the water line. They were cutting off our water services from the top of the water line, and so we had to go back. We shot elevations, and it was found out to be that the survey company made the mistake, and we had to rip out the entire water line on a cul-de-sac. I think it was only like 20 homes or something like that, and we redid that section, put it all back in new, and then buried it, and then we were done. So that was just one of the bad things that happened on that project, which is actually not a huge deal. I mean, it was all T&M for us, so we made money on it. At least I did. Windsor, I don't mind the 10-hour days, but 12-hour days don't need a lot of overtime. I just like working steady all year. Yeah, and that's about where I'm at. The company keeps me working pretty much year-round. I'm at the point, I've been with this company for 15 years this year. So I'm one of their top operators, and they keep me working above everyone else, which is really nice. The pay scale's good. I get paid over scale, and just because they don't want me to quit. And right now we've got a situation where guys have been quitting and going to other companies because they want more overtime, or they're offered higher scale or whatever. I'm not a big fan of jumping company to company, because you never build a relationship and you never build a standing within the company. You're always starting over as a new employee to the company. If you stick with a company, you become known in the company, you build a reputation, and you've got a really good skill set, you get to move up you move up the ladder, and you become more important, and you become a priority person within the company to keep busy, to keep working. You'll get bonuses through that ideal. But I agree with you, Windsor. Working 12-hour days sucks. I've done it. I've done that kind of thing on emergency jobs, where we had back in 1997, I was working for Ford Construction, and we were working in Manteca, waiting. My job was just to sit on the levee and wait for a levee to break, because we were having a 100-year flood, and it was bad. So 12 hours a day I sat next to a loader and a bulldozer waiting for a levee to break. I did that for 2 weeks, worked at a sandbag station for a week, working 12-hour shifts. And the funny thing about that was my schedule was from 12 noon to 12 midnight. And then another guy would show up and relieve me. He would do a 12-hour shift from 12 midnight to 12 noon. So basically the sandbagging station was a chill job, because basically I wasn't allowed to get out of the machine because I was working with prison workers. The prison workers were sandbagging. The only time I was allowed out of the machine was when I parked it to go get food from the Red Cross station, and then get back in my machine, and just the prison workers would put all the sandbags in my bucket. I would then dump the sandbags into the 10-wheelers. 10-wheelers would go off and deliver them wherever they were needed. And there were a lot of sandbags taken out of that place. And then the prison workers would quit at 8 o'clock. They'd go back to wherever they came from, and then they'd come back in the morning. They'd already be there by the time I got there because I showed up at lunchtime. And that was that was good pay, because at the time, I believe, yeah, I was like a third or fourth step apprentice at the time when that happened. So I made prevailing wage, and I was working 12-hour shifts. So that was a ton of money, back then. Whereas a normal 40-hour paycheck for me was around, let's see, as a third step, I was probably making $460 a week as a third step apprentice back then. And I was getting prevailing wage with all that overtime. That was probably like a $2,000 check, I think, which was huge. And that was during the winter. So that was a rare oddity. It only happened a couple of times for me. And then I've had some other emergency project tie-ins that only had to happen at certain times, where I actually had to work 2 shifts, or I worked my normal day shift of 8 to 10 hours. You know, we were working 10-hour shifts, and then I had a 2-hour break. I didn't leave the project because the home was an hour and a half away. So I just stayed on the project for 2 hours, ate some dinner, and then started with the night crew that had to do a tie-in at night because it was in a very busy street. So that was like an 18-hour shift. And then I got like 3 hours of sleep in my truck, and then started my day shift again. And then got back on my regular schedule. That was a rough couple of days. I agree with staying with the company. I've been in my operation, or operators local, for 13 years now, and I've been with the current company 9 years solid now. Nice. I think that's the way to go. So for me, I have had, in my apprenticeship time, I went to several different companies. I worked with Dirt Work, Siblon and Reed, Ford Construction, FCI. FCI did both dirt and underground, and they built bridges. Bridges were their primary role. When I worked for them in 98, 99, they were trying to convert their company, and because their primary thing was build a bridge, and then they'd sub out doing the dirt work and the underground. They were trying to start picking up the dirt work and underground for themselves, so they were hiring superintendents that knew dirt work and underground, and they were hiring foremans and things like that. And I got hired out of the union hall that year for them. They said that I was like the third or fourth operator that had pulled out of the union hall, and nobody could beat production. So I was able to meet their production numbers and actually exceed their production numbers at 20-something years old. And they kept me around. So I got to run blade for them. And unfortunately, they kind of fell away from doing the underground and dirt work, and they just kind of forgot about me. My foreman quit, the superintendent I was working under quit, and then I just got lost in the paperwork, and then wound up on the out of work list again, and wound up calling the company that I had worked for during my apprenticeship program. Went back to work for them. They hired me back, so that got me back into the underground scene. And I did tell my apprenticeship coordinator that I wanted to be working underground, because I really liked running excavators, and I still love running excavators. I think they're really cool, very diverse. You can do a ton of stuff with them. And the owner of the company that I worked for in the very beginning, they don't exist anymore. That company was a small company. They did $25 to $50 million a year. So they weren't a huge company, but they weren't small either, I guess, medium size. But the owner's idea was, if we can't do it with an excavator, it can't be done, or we can't do it. That was the thing. So we never had dozers. I think we rented a dozer once, and none of our guys really knew how to use a dozer. And the owner was like, "Yeah, we don't ever need to rent one of those again, because we can move enough dirt with an excavator just as well as a dozer can." Let's see. We've got Yep, the apprenticeship was rough. I had a 19-year-old. I had 19 W2 one year. W2. 19 W2s one year. Wow. That was rough. I never had that issue. I would get hired on and I worked solid through the year, but I would be laid off when the first rain came around, usually in November. Back in the 90s, we got rain in November a lot, and usually with dirt work, that'd shut us down. If I was doing underground, I did have 1 year I put in 2,000 hours as an apprentice, and I got through a step and a half in 1 year because we were doing 1,000-hour steps. Now I believe a step is 1,500 hours, and it's taking a lot of the apprentices here in Local 3 around 5 to 6 years to get through the apprenticeship program. And the new apprentices that we're getting are not necessarily natural operators, natural thinkers to construction. They're not very intuitive to it. They're not mechanically inclined. A lot of common sense, since common sense is not being taught in schools. Being able to think for yourself and do critical thinking is not necessarily around as much as it used to be. Alright, so I'm going to change subjects up here. So since we talked about winter a little bit, I got a photo here that will kind of show the way that our company, the company I work for, is going. They really like electric power. They've actually bought an electric powered excavator. I have not seen it yet, so I don't know what it's about, and I'm pretty sure it's a mini, but here's one of the items that we are using now. This is a test product from Milwaukee. This is a electric powered, well, they're all electric, but it's a battery powered pump, water pump, 2-inch pump for pumping water out of trenches. And what is going on here is that the backpack is the battery, and the battery is interchangeable, so the battery can actually be removed from the backpack. Surprisingly, when we used this thing, it worked very well. It pumped very hard, and it had 3 settings you could choose from. Low power, which would be the energy saver mode. So if you don't have a ton of water coming in, you could choose what step. If you had a ton of water, you'd put it on max. So here's what we did. We put it on max just to see how long this thing would run. It ran for half an hour to the second. I put a stopwatch on it from when we started running it till it died. 30 minutes almost to the dot. So if you go down to those other 2 power settings, that'll extend that time that it'll pump. But if you're pumping a mass amount of water, you got half an hour of battery life out of that giant battery. So that's how that worked out. So I'm guessing if you've got a trickle of water coming in, you put it in a power saving mode and the pump's able to keep up, you probably get an hour or so out of that thing, which was really cool. It worked out very well. So, where are we at here? I don't know how long I've been streaming this thing. 50 minutes. Okay. I'll give you guys about 10 more minutes. Not a real talkative bunch. You guys like sitting back and watching. It's early morning. Yes, Milwaukee's going to battery powered everything. And yes, they suck. The pump actually was really good. I really did enjoy the pump. As long as it lasted, it pumped really good. Pumped better than our generator powered ones. So, and I think that's just because it was brand new, right out of the box. We pulled it out of the box, threw it in the hole, and started pumping. We put it in a bucket with some drain rock in the bucket, with a bunch of sliced holes so we wouldn't get a bunch of dirt or sand into the pump and ruin it first thing. But all the Milwaukee tools and stuff, I'm not a fan of the Milwaukee design with the battery and the connectors. A lot of the time our battery, either the battery or the connector on the gun, the DAC gun, it's the chugga chugga or whatever you want to call it, the rattle gun, they die. The connection gets bad, and then the laborers are down there having to hold the battery in a certain position to get the dang thing to work, and it's causing more problems than it's solving, and we wind up breaking out a air gun anyways. And most of the trucks now, we've gone away from using the compressor and the air guns, which I think are actually better. They're more reliable, but they're a heck of a lot louder. You guys got any other questions? Anything else going on? Everybody have a good 4th of July. Everybody still got all their fingers? As I just went over a neighbor's house and watched, they had some of the California safe fireworks, but you just look over our house in any direction and everyone was launching all the California illegal fireworks. So we still had plenty of displays. The local town from me, I can actually climb on a ladder or get a platform in my backyard and I can see town, and we can see the fireworks display from our house, which is pretty cool. So we do that every once in a while. We didn't do it this year, but all right. If you guys aren't going to talk to me, I'm not going to talk to you. So I just felt like doing a live chat this morning, hanging out. I didn't have anything else going on, so I thought I'd do this. If you guys want me to do more live stuff on weekends or something like that, maybe I can do this every Sunday morning or something and just have a little early morning live chat. So if you guys want to see live chats, even the people that are watching this later on, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And there's a tagged, I always get this backwards, I've got a live chat link in the comments that's pinned at the top. That's for an application called Sircles. I'm going to go into this again, and I've got it on my phone here. So this way you guys can actually live chat to me any time of day. If something happens on your job site or you have a question you're too afraid to ask someone on your job site, you'll be able to ask me directly. I can throw you the answer as soon as I get a chance to, and you guys are less likely to look like an idiot on your project. So this is just a tool for us to be able to, for me to be able to communicate better with you guys any time of the day. You guys can post pictures on the application. I recommend downloading the application and doing the chat through it. The chat room name is Monkey Construction, so you guys can find it. The link should take you directly to the chat, which you could actually do through your phone without downloading the app, but I recommend downloading the app. There's a lot of extra things that are in the application that will actually help you out, and once I get a sponsorship from them, I will go deeper into that. Also, the company Sircles with an S, I'll throw this out there just because I want to support them. They are on WeFunder. They are doing a crowdfunding fundraising right now to support the development of the application, and these guys are expecting their company to be worth in the billions of dollars. So this is not on the stock market, so you can't find this company on the stock market. So you're getting in on a ground floor. Is there risk? Yes, there's definitely risk with this. But if they get bought out by another large company, or they actually go to the stock market, you're going to have stocks that are at the ground floor entry level, and you could make, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times the money invested. And that's what I'm kind of hoping for is this company. I'm hoping to have enough money by the time I retire to build my dream log cabin home. And this company, if they do blow up the way I'm hoping they blow up and the way they hope they're going to blow up, they're going to be, huge. So that'll afford me to retire the way I want to retire. So, Lake for 2. Yeah, more live. Join late, so I don't know what to ask. I'm a construction guy. I don't know, Lake. Tell me a little something about yourself. I'll give you 5 minutes. So you got. See, it's 8:36. At 8:40, I'll cut it off. So I'll give you a minute for this to broadcast to you, and you send me a reply. And I will answer anything. You want to ask me about my life, ask me about money, ask me about savings, anything will go. Just starting on a management position, project engineer, sweet. I hate you guys. Started as a laborer, then carpenter. Any advice? Project engineer that used to be a laborer. Dude, you have a leg up on college kids coming out of college. We get guys here that are hired out straight out of college that have never been out on a project, don't know how to put anything together. You have a leg up on them. You know what's going on the project. Use that information, apply it to what your new job is, and just do what you know. As a project engineer, I can't help you too much because I've never been a project engineer. I kind of have an idea of what they do, and most of the time they get in my way. I think for the company I work for, we have a lot of oversight people that I don't think are necessary, but they are there. And the foreman just kind of is there just to do the paperwork on site. The project engineer, he's doing paperwork in the office, making sure the project is moving along as is supposed to be. Your job would be to help the foreman and help the project manager, as we have project managers, project engineers, foremen, superintendents, and all that fun stuff above us. So just making sure that the guys in the field have what they need to do their job and do their job efficiently. That is more important because it's the guys in the field that make the company the money. The project has to progress to be able to be profitable. And a lot of companies will start taking people away, taking things away. Other companies will dump money into the project to make the project go faster via just adding more to it. So there's a lot of different thought processes of what is best. My suggestion is find somebody that's been a project engineer for a long time. Ask them what works and ask them what doesn't work. And then apply that knowledge to what you're doing to your project. So that's the best information I can give you. So with that, guys, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go play some games and chill out and go kiss the wife, hug the dog, whatever. And thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate you showing up and asking questions and having a chat. So if this is something you guys are really interested in, make sure you smash the little like button down there and give me a thumbs up, all right? Because that stuff actually helps a lot with YouTube. It doesn't may not mean a lot to you guys, but smash the like button, subscribe if you're not, and I will talk to you guys later. And oh yeah, as always, keep your butt level and your ditch straight. Now, how do I end this thing?